Okay, Guru, I can chant. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Ajnanativirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshurunlimitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Rutapadakammalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Tadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rusha Bhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhrishta Kripa Sindhubhe Vachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnuvebhyo Namo Namaha नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे हरि बोल.
Haribo, thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Okay, so chapter number 1, Advent of Lord Krishna. Once the world was overburdened by the unnecessary defense force of different kings who were actually demons, but were posing themselves as the royal order. Hare Krishna, Lebahang
Please,
Prabhu, Taratranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare
please accept my
Krishna
humble
Prabhu, Dharma Pranam.
God.
Hare Please accept my humble obeisance. Prabhu, Hare Krishna Vishnu Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Today we read about Advent of Lord Krishna.
Oh, okay, Prabhu.
At that time, the whole world became perturbed, and the predominating deity of this earth, known as Bhumi, went to see Lord Brahma to tell of her calamities due to the demoniac kings. Bhumi assumed the shape of a cow and presented herself before Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes. She was bereaved and was weeping just to invoke the Lord's compassion. She related the calamitous position of the earth, and after hearing this, Lord Brahma became much aggrieved, and he at once started for the ocean of milk, where Lord Vishnu resides. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the demigods headed by Lord Shiva, and Bhumi also followed. Arriving on the shore of the milk ocean, Lord Brahma began to pacify the Lord Vishnu, who formerly saved the earthly planet by assuming the transcendental form of a boar. In the Vedic mantras, there is a particular type of prayer called Purusha Sukta. Generally, the demigods offer their obeisances unto Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by chanting the Purusha Sukta. It is understood herein that the predominating deity of every planet can see the Supreme Lord of this universe, Brahma, whenever there is some disturbance in his planet. And Brahma can approach the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So all the demigods can see Lord Brahma, and Brahma can see Vishnu. Not by seeing him directly, but by standing on the shore of the ocean of milk. So Lord Brahma even though doesn't see him directly. There is a planet within this universe called Sveta Dvipa, and on that planet there is an ocean of milk. It is understood from various Vedic literatures that just as there is an ocean of salt water within this planet, there are various kinds of oceans in other planets. Somewhere there is an ocean of milk, somewhere there is an ocean of oil, and somewhere there is an ocean of liquor, and many other types of oceans. Purusha Sukta is the standard prayer which the demigods recite to appease the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kshirodakasai Vishnu. Because he is lying on the ocean of milk, he is called Kshirodakasai Vishnu. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through whom all the incarnations within this universe appear. After all the demigods offered the Purusha Sukta, prayer to the Supreme Person of Godhead, they apparently heard no response. Then Brahma personally sat in meditation, and there was a message transmission from Lord Vishnu to Brahma. Brahma then broadcasts the message to the demigods. That is the system of receiving Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is received first by Brahma from the Supreme Person of Godhead through the medium of the heart. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahmarada, the transcendental knowledge of the Vedas was transmitted to Lord Brahma through the heart. Here also, in the same way, only Brahma could understand the message transmitted by Lord Vishnu, and he broadcasted it to the demigods for their immediate action. The message was, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear on the earth very soon along with his supreme powerful potencies, and as long as he remains on the earth planet, to execute his mission of annihilating the demons and establishing the devotees, the demigods should also remain there to assist him. They should all immediately take birth in the family of the Yadu dynasty, wherein the Lord will also appear in due course of time. The Supreme Person of Godhead himself, Krishna, personally appeared as the son of Vasudeva. Before he appeared, all the demigods, along with their wives, appeared in different pious families in the world just to assist the Lord in executing his mission. The exact word used here is Tat Priyartam, which means the demigod should appear on the earth in order to please the Lord. In other words, any living entity who lives only to satisfy the Lord is a demigod. The demigods were further informed that the plenary portion of Lord Krishna, Ananta, who is maintaining the universal planets by extending his millions of hoods, would also appear on earth before Lord Krishna's appearance. They were also informed that the external potency of Vishnu, Maya, with whom all the conditioned souls are enamored, would also appear just to execute the purpose of the Supreme Lord. After instructing and pacifying all the demigods as well as Bhumi, with sweet words, Lord Brahma, the father of all Prajapatis, or progenitors of universal population, departed for his own abode, the highest material planet called Brahmaloka. The leader of the Yadu dynasty, King Shurasena, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, the district of Mathura, as well as the district known as Shurasena. On account of the rule of King Shurasena, Mathura became the capital city of all the kings of the Yadus. Mathura was also made the capital of the kings of the Yadu dynasty because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is the place where Lord Sri Krishna lives eternally, just as he also lives in Dwaraka. Okay, Haribol, who wants to continue from this part?
I can continue. Like,
Prabhu, thank you.
again, okay. Once upon a time, Vasudeva, the son of uh, Surasena, just after marrying Devaki, was going home on his chariot with his newly wed, like wedded wife. The father of Devaki, known as Devaka, had contributed a sufficient dowry because he was very affectionate towards his daughter. He had contributed hundreds of chariots completely decorated with gold equipment. At that time, Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devaki, had voluntarily taken the reins of the horse of Vasudeva's chariot and was driving. According to the custom of the Vedic civilization, when a girl is married, the brother takes the sister and brother-in-law to their home because the newly married girl may feel too much separation from her father's family. The brother goes with her until she reaches her father-in-law's house. The full dowry contributed by Devaka was as follows: 400 elephants fully decorated with golden garlands, 15,000 decorated horses, and 1,800 chariots. He also arranged for 200 beautiful girls to follow his daughter. The Kshatriya system of marriage, still current in India, indicates that when a Kshatriya is married, a few dozen of the bride's young girl friends go to house of the king. The followers of the queen are called maid servants, but actually they act as friends of the queen. This uh, this practice is prevalent from time immemorial, traceable at least to the time before the advent of Lord Krishna, 5,000 years ago. So Vasudeva brought home another 200 beautiful girls along with his wife. While the breed, uh, breed, breed and bridegroom were passing along on the chariot, there were different kinds of musical instruments playing to indicate the auspicious moment. There were conchs, bugles, drums, and kettle drums combined together. They were vibrating a nice concert. The procession was passing very pleasingly, and Kamsa was driving chariot, when suddenly there was a miraculous sound vibrated from the sky, which especially announced to Kamsa, Kamsa, you are such a fool. You are driving the chariot of your sister and your brother-in-law, but you do not know that the eighth child of this sister will kill you. Kamsa was the son of Ugrasena of the uh, Bhoga, sorry, Bhoja dynasty. It is uh, it is said that Kamsa was the most demonic of all the Bhoga, sorry, Bhoja, Bhoja dynasty kings. Immediately after hearing the sorry, pro, propensity from the sky, he caught hold of Devaki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudeva was uh, astonished at Kamsa's behavior, and in order to pacify the cruel, shameless brother-in-law, he began to speak as follows. With great reason and evidence, he said, "My dear brother-in-law, Kamsa, you are the most famous king of the Bhoja dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and a valiant king. How is that you are so infatuated that you are prepared to kill a woman who is your own sister at this auspicious time of her marriage? Why should you be much afraid of death? Death is already born along with your birth. From the very day you took your birth, you begin to die. Suppose you are 25 years old, that means you have already died 25 years. Well, okay. Every moment, every second you are dying. Why then may die neither today or in 100 years? You cannot avoid death. Why should you be so much afraid? Actually, death means annihilation of the present body. As soon as the present body stops functioning and mixing with the five elements of material nature, the living entity within the body accepts another body. According to his present action, the reaction it is he is confident that his foot is situated on on ground, sorry, sound ground. He left the another foot. In this way, one after another, the big changes and the soul transmigrates. See how the plant worms change from one thing to another so carefully. Similarly, the living entity changes his body as soon as the higher authorities decide on his next body. As long as the living entity is conditioned within this material world, he must take material body one after another. His next particular body is offered by the laws of nature according to the actions and reactions of this life. This boy, this body is exactly like one of the bodies which we always see in dreams. During our dream of sleep, we create so many bodies according to mental creation. We have seen gold and we have also seen a mountain. So in a dream, we can see a golden mountain by combining the two ideas. Sometimes in dreams we see that we have a body which is flying in the sky, and at that time we completely forget our present body. Similarly, these bodies are changing. When you have one body, you forget the past body. During a dream, we make contact with so many new kinds of bodies, but when we are awake, we forget them all. And actually, these material bodies are the creations of our mental activities. But at this present moment, we do not recollect our past bodies. The nature of the mind is flickering. Sometimes it accepts something and immediately it rejects the same thing. Accepting and rejecting is the process of the mind. It in contact with the five objects of the sense gratification: form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. In this, in the sorry, in its speculative way, the mind comes in touch with the objects of sense gratification, and when the living entity desires a particular type of body, he gets it. Therefore, the body is an offering by the laws of material nature. The living entity accepts the body and comes out again into the material world to enjoy our suffering according to the construction of body. Unless we have a particular type of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental. Unless we have a particular type of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental proclivity inherited from the previous life. The particular type of body is actually offered to us according to our mental condition at the time of death. The illumination planets like sun, moon, or the stars reflect themselves in different types, different types of reservoirs like water, oil, or ghee. The reflection moves according to the movement of the reservoir. The reflection of the moon is on the water, and the moving water makes the moon also appear to be moving, but actually the moon is not moving. Similarly, by mental concoction, the living entity attains different kinds of bodies, although actually he has no connections with such bodies, but on the account of an illusion, being enchanted by the illusion of Maya, the living entity thinks that he belongs to a particular type of body. That is the way of conditioned life. Suppose a living entity is known in a human form of a body. He thinks that he belongs to a human community or particular country or particular place. He identifies himself in that way and unnecessarily prepares for another body which is not req- which is not required by him. Such desires and mental concoction are the cause of different types of body. The covering influence of material nature is so strong that the living entity is satisfied in whether body he is getting, and he identifies with that body with greater pleasure. Therefore, I beg to request you not to be overwhelmed by the de- detection of your mind and body. Vasudeva thus requested Kamsa not to be envious of his newly married sister. One should not be envious of anyone because envy is the cause of fear both in this world and in the next. When one is before Yamaraja, Lord of Punishment after death, Vasudeva appealed to Kamsa on behalf of Devaki, stating that she was his younger sister. She also appealed to an auspicious moment at the time of marriage. A younger sister or brother are supposed to be protected as one's children. The position is over also delicate. Vasudeva reasoned that if you kill her, it will go against your high reputation. Vasudeva tried to specify Kamsa by good instructions as well as by philosophical discrimination, but Kamsa was not to be specified because his association was demonic. Because of his demonic associations, he was always a demon. Although born in a very high royal family, a demon never carries for any good instructions. He is just like a determined thief. One can give him moral instructions, but it will not be effective. Similarly, those who are demonic or atheistic by nature can hardly as- assimilate any good instructions, however authorized he may be. That is the difference between demigod and demon. Those who can those those who can accept good instruction and try to live their lives in that way are called demigods, and those who are unable to take such good instruction are called de- demons. Failing in this attempt to specify Kamsa, Vasudeva wondered how he would protect his wife Devaki when there is mini, imminent danger. An intelligent person should try to avoid the dangerous position as far as possible. Okay. Okay. But if, in spite of enduring by all intelligence, one fails to avoid the dangerous position, there is no fault on his part. One should try his best to execute his duties, but if the attempt fails, not at a sorry, uh, he is not at fault. Vasudeva, though through of his wife as follows. For the present, let me save the life of Devaki. Then later on, if there are children, I shall see how to save them. He further thought, if in the future I get a child, you who can kill Kamsa, just as Kamsa is thinking, then both Devaki and the child will be saved because of the law of providences providences is inconceivable. But now some way or other let me save the life of Devaki. There is no certainty how a living entity contacts a certain type of body, just as there is no certainty how the blazing fire comes in contact with a certain type of wood in the forest. When there is a forest fire, it is experienced that the blazing fire sometimes leaps over one tree and catches another by the influence of the wind. Similarly, a living entity may be very careful and fearful in the matter of executing his duties, but it is still very difficult for him to know what type of body he is going to get in next life. Maharaja Bharata was very faithfully executing the duties of life self-realization, but by chance he contacted temporarily affection for a deer, and he had to accept his next life in the body of a deer. Vasudeva, after deliberating on how to save his wife, began to speak to Kamsa with great respect. Although Kamsa was the most sinful man, sometimes it happens that a most virtuous person like Vasudeva has to flatter a person like Kamsa, a most vicious person. That is the way of all diplomatic tra- transition, trans, transaction, transaction. Okay. Although Vasudeva was deeply aggrieved, he presently presented himself outwardly as cheerful. He addressed the shameless Kamsa in that way because he was so atrocious. Vasudeva said to Kamsa, "My dear brother-in-law, please consider that you have no danger from your sister. You are awaiting some danger because you have heard a prophetic prophetic voice in the sky, but the danger is to come from the sons of your sister, who are not present now, and who knows, there may or may not be sons in the future. Considering all this, you are safe for the present, nor is there cause of fear from your sister. Is if there are any sons born of her, I promise that I shall present all of them to you. You, sorry, bro. You for necessary action. Kamsa knew the value of Vasudeva's word of honor, and he was convinced by his argument. For the time being, he dissuaded from the heinous killing of his sister. Thus, Vasudeva was pleased and praised the decision of Kamsa. In this way, he returned to his home. You can continue, Haribo. Thank you so much. So, another 5 members are there, so
Yes.
we can continue. Thank you so much.
Does someone want to continue? Okay, Haribol, I can read the
Okay, I
rest.
can continue, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
There's 2 pages left. You can finish this chapter.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay. I start there. Okay. after due yes. After due course of time, Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to 8 male children, as well as 1 daughter. When the first son was born, Vasudeva kept his word of honor and immediately brought the child before Kamsa. It is said that Vasudeva was very much elevated and famous for his word of honor, and he wanted to maintain this fame. Although it was very painful for Vasudeva to hand over the newly born child, Kamsa was very glad to receive him, but he became a little compassionate with the behavior of Vasudeva. This event is very exemplary for a great soul like Vasudeva. There is nothing considered to be painful in the course of discharging one's duty. A learned a learned person like Vasudeva carries out his duties without hesitation. On the other hand, a demon like Kamsa never hesitates in committing any abdominal action. It is said, therefore, that a saintly person can tolerate all kinds of miserable conditions of life. A learned man can discharge his duties without awaiting favorable circumstances. A heinous person like Kamsa can act in any sinful way, and a devotee can sacrifice everything to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. Kamsa became satisfied by the action of Vasudeva, and he was surprised to see Vasudeva keeping his promise and being compassionate upon him, and pleased he began to speak as follows: My dear Vasudeva, you need not pre- you need not present this child to me. I am not in danger from this child. I have heard that the 8th child born of you and Devaki I will kill me. Why should I accept this child unnecessarily? You can take him back. When Vasudeva was returning home with his firstborn child, although, as you can go down, okay, please go a little bit up. Why should I accept this child? Yeah, you can take him back. When Vasudeva was returning home with his firstborn child, although he was pleased by the behavior of Kamsa, he could not believe in him because he knew that Kamsa was uncontrolled and atheistic person. An atheistic person cannot be firm in his word of honor. One who cannot control the sense cannot be steady in his determination. The great politician Chanakaya Pandit said, you can go down, Prabhu. Said never put your trust in a diplomat or in a woman. Those who are those who are addicted to unrestricted sense gratification can never be truthful, nor can they be trusted with any faith. At that time, the great sage Narada came to Kamsa, he was informed of Kamsa's becoming compassionate to Vasudeva and returning his firstborn child. Narada was very anxious to accelerate the descent of the Lord Krishna as soon as possible. He therefore informed Kamsa that personalities like yes, you can accept it. Narada Maharaj and all the cowherd men and girls and the wives of the cowherd men in Vrindavan. And on the other side, Vasudeva, his father, Surasena, and all his relatives born in the family of Vrishni. Is it Vrishni, Prabhu? How do you pronounce that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty were preparing for the appearance of the Lord. Narada warned Kamsa to be careful of the friends and well-wishers and all the demigods taking birth in those families. Kamsa and his friends and advisors were all demons. Demons are always afraid of demigods. After being thus informed, this can go down, Prabhu. Informed by Narada about the appearance of the demigods in different families, Kamsa at once became alert. He understood that since the demigods had already appeared, Lord Vishnu must be coming soon. He at once arrested both his brother-in-law Vasudeva and Devaki and put them behind prison bars. Within the prison, shackled in iron chains, Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to a male child year after year, and Kamsa, thinking each of their babies to be the incarnation of Vishnu, killed them one after another. He was particularly afraid of the eighth child, but after the visit of Narada, he came to the conclusion that any child might be Krishna. Therefore, it was better to kill all the babies who took birth of Devaki and Vasudeva. Devaki and Vasudeva. This action of Kamsa is not very difficult to understand. There are many instances in the history of the world of person in the royal order who have killed father, brother, or a whole family and friends for the satisfaction of their ambitions. There is nothing astonishing about this, for the demoniac can kill anyone for the nefarious ambitions. Kamsa was made aware of his previous birth by the grace of Narada. He learned that in his previous birth he was a demon of the name Kalanemi, and that he was killed by Vishnu, having taken his birth in the Bhoja family. He decided to become the deadly enemy of the Yadu dynasty. Krishna was going to take birth in the family, and Kamsa was very much afraid that he would be killed by Krishna, just as he was killed in his past birth. He first of all imprisoned his father Ugrasena because he was the chief king among the Yadu, Bhoja, and Andaka dynasties, and he also occupied the kingdom of Surasena. Vasudeva's father, he declared himself the king of all such places. Yes, you can go down.
He imprisoned his own father, it seems here.
Yeah. It comes is an opportunist.
Yes, bro. Okay, let's see.
Okay, you can go. Oh,
We can start the second chapter.
okay, bro. Prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. King Kamsa not only occupied the kingdoms of the Yadu, Bhoga, and Anandaka dynasties and the kingdom of Surasena, but he also made alliances with all the other demoniac kings as follows: the demon Pralamba, demon Baka, demon Chanura, demon Tranavarta, demon Agasura, demon Musuktika, demon Arista, demon Divivida, demon Putana, demon Keshi, and demon Dehenuka. At that place, Jarasandaha was the king of Magadha province, known at present as Behar State. Behar State, yes. Thus, by his diplomatic policy, Kamsa consolidated the most powerful kingdom of his time under the. Yes, you can go down. Under the okay, under the protection of Jarasandaha, he made further alliances with such kings as Banasura and Bahumasura until he was the strongest. Then he began to behave. Ish, when people text, I cannot see, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, where was I? Bahanasaka and Bamusar. Until he was the strongest, then he became to behave most inimically towards the Yadu dynasty, into which Krishna was to take his birth. Being harassed by Kamsa, the king of the Yadu, Bhoja and Anandaka dynasties began to take shelter in different states, such as the state of the Kurus, the state of the Panchalas, and the state known as Kekaya, Salva, Vidaraba, Nisadaha, Videha, and Kosala. Kamsa broke the solidarity of the Yadu kingdom, as well as the Bhoja and Andaka. He made his position the most solid within the vast tract of land known at that time as Bharatavasa. When Kamsa killed the six babies of Devaki and Vasudeva, one after another, many friends and relatives of Kamsa approached him and requesting him to discontinue these heinous activities, but all of them became worshippers of Kamsa. When Devaki became pregnant for the seventh time, a plenary expansion of Krishna known as Ananta appeared within her womb. Devaki was overwhelmed both with jubilation and lamentation. She was joyful, for she could understand that Lord Vishnu had taken shelter within her womb, but at the same time she was sorry that as soon as her child would come out, Kamsa would kill him. At the time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, being compassionate upon the fearful condition of the Yadu due to atrocities committed by Kamsa, ordered the appearance of his Yogamaya, or his internal potency. Krishna is the Lord of the universe, but he is especially the Lord of the Yadu dynasty. This Yogamaya is the principal potency of the personality of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is stated that the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has multi-potencies. Parasya Saktir Vividaivam Suryate. All the different potencies are acting externally and eternally. And Yogamaya is the chief of all potencies. He ordered the appearance of Yogamaya in the land of Vrajambhumi in Vrindavan. Isn't Vrajambhumi Vrindavan too, or is it a place inside Vrindavan?
Vrindavan is placed in Vrajabhumi.
Okay, Prabhu. Which is always decorated and full with beautiful cows. In Vrindavan, Rohini, one of the wives of Vasudeva, was residing at the house of King Nanda and Queen Yeshoda. Not only Rohini, but many others in the Yadu dynasty were scattered all over the country due to the fear of the atrocities of Kamsa. Some of them were even living in the caves of the mountains. The Lord thus informed Yogamaya under the imprisonment of Kamsa, Devaki, and Vasudeva. And at the present moment, my plenary expansion, Shesha, is within the womb of Devaki. You can arrange the transfer of Shesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini after this arrangement. I am personally going to appear in the womb of Devaki. In the womb of Devaki with my full potencies. Then I shall appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and you shall appear as the daughter of Nanda and Yashoda in Vrindavan. Since you will appear as my contemporary sister, People within the world will worship you with all kinds of valuable presentations, incense, candles, flowers, and offerings of sacrifice. You shall quickly satisfy their desires for sense gratification. People who are after materialist affection will worship you under the different forms of your expansions, which will be named Durga, Bahadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi Kumunda, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavai, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sarada, and Ambika. Krishna and Yogamaya appeared as brothers and sisters, the supreme powerful and the supreme power. Although there is no clear distinction between the powerful and the power, power is always subordinate to the powerful. Those who are materialistics are worshippers of the power, but those who are transcendentalists are worshippers of the powerful. Krishna is the supreme personal. Krishna is the supreme powerful and Durga is the supreme power within the material world. Actually, people in the Vedic culture worship both the powerful and the power. There are many hundreds of thousands of temples of Vishnu and Devi, and sometimes they are worshipped simultaneously. The worship prayer. Okay, the worshipper of the power Durga or the eternal energies of Krishna may achieve all kinds of material success very easily. But anyone who wants to be elevated transcendentally must engage in worshiping the powerful in Krishna consciousness. The Lord also declared to Yogamaya that his plenary expansions Ananta Shesha was within the womb of Devaki on account of being forcibly attracted to the womb of Rohini. He would be known as Sankarashana, yes, and would be the source of all spiritual power or bala, by which one could be able to attain the highest bliss of life, which is called Ramana. Therefore, the plenary portion Ananta would be known after his appearance either as Sankarashai or Balaram. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Nayam Atma Bala Yinena La Labaya. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme or any form of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. Bala does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. One must, okay, go down a little bit, Prabhu. One must have the spiritual strength which is infused by Balaram or Sankarashai. Sankarashai, is it Sankarashai, ne, Prabhu? Not Sankarasan. Ananta or Shesha is the power which sustains all the planets in the different positions. Materially, this sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is the display of the potency of Sankarashai. Balaram or Sankarashana is spiritual power or the original spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is also the incarnation of Balaram, is the original spiritual master, and the spiritual master is the representative of Balaram, the supreme personality of Godhead, who supplies spiritual strength. In the Chaitanya Chamrita, it is confirmed that the spiritual master is the manifestation of the mercy of Krishna. When Yogamaya was thus ordered by the supreme personality of Godhead, she circumambulated the Lord and then appeared within the material world according to his order. When the supreme powerful personality of Godhead transferred Lord Shesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, both of them were under the spell of Yogamaya, which is also called Yoga Nidra. When this was done, people understood that Devaki's seventh pregnancy was a miscarriage. Thus, although Balaram appeared as the son of Devaki, he was transferred to the womb of Rohini to appear as her son. After this arrangement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is always ready to place his full potencies in his unalloyed devotees, entered as the Lord of the whole creation within the mind of Vasudeva. It was understood in this connection that Lord Krishna first of all situated himself in the unalloyed heart of Devaki. He was not put into the womb of Devaki by seminal discharge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his inconceivable potency, can appear in any way. It is not necessary for him to appear in the ordinary way by seminal injection with the womb of a woman. When Vasudeva was sustaining the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like the glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord, situated in the pure unalloyed heart of Vasudevaya, is not different from original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere, and specifically within the heart, it is called Dharma. Dharma does not only refer to Krishna's form, but his name, his form, his quality, and
Dharma.
his para.
It's
Sorry?
Dharma. Dharma.
Oh,
It's
Dharma.
yeah, not Dharma. Dharma.
Oh, Dharma. Looks like Dharma, hey?
Yes, Prabhu.
Quality and his prama everything becomes manifest simultaneously. Thus, the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full potencies was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, exactly as the setting sun's rays are transferred to the full moon rising in the east. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva. He was beyond the conditions of the ordinary living entity. When Krishna is there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayana, and incarnations like Lord Nrsimha, yes, Varana, etc., are with are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence in this way. Devaki became the residence of the cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of the absolute truth. But because she was within the house of Kamsa, she looked just like a suppressed fire, or like misused education. When fire is covered by the walls of a pot, or is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge, which does not benefit the people in general, is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa Palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from the which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kamsa, however, saw the transcendental beauty of his sister Devaki, and he at once concluded that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had taken shelter in her womb. She had never before looked so wonderful, beautiful. He could distinctly understand that there was something wonderful within the womb of Devaki. In this way, Kamsa became perturbed uh, perturbed, and he was sure that the Supreme Personality of Godhead would kill him in the future, and that he had now come. Kamsa began to think, what is to be done with Devaki? Surely she has Vishnu or Krishna within her womb, so it is certain that Krishna has come to execute the mission of the demigods, and even if I immediately kill Devaki, his mission cannot be frustrated. Kamsa knew very well that no one can frustrate the purpose of Vishnu. Any intelligent man can understand that the law of God cannot be violated. His purpose will be served in spite of all impediments offered by the demons. Kamsa thought, if I kill Devaki at the present moment, Vishnu will enforce his supreme will more vehemently. To kill Devaki just now would be a most abdominal act. No one desires to kill his reputation, even in an awkward situation. If I kill Devaki now, my reputation will be spoiled. Devaki is a woman and she is under my shelter. She is pregnant, and if I kill her immediately, all my reputation, the results of pious activities, and duration of life will be finished. He also further deliberated a person who is too cruel, even in the lifetime, is as good as dead. No, no one likes a cruel person during his lifetime, and after his death, people curse him on account of his self identification with the body. He must be degraded and pushed into the darkness region of hell. Kamsa thus meditated on all the pros and cons of killing Devaki at that time. Kamsa finally decided not to kill Devaki right away, but to wait for the inevitable future. But his mind became absorbed in animosity against the personality of Godhead. He patiently waited for the deliverance of the child, expecting to kill him, as he had done previously with the other babies of Devaki, thus being merged in the ocean of animosity against the personality of Godhead. He began to think of Krishna and Vishnu while sitting, while sleeping, while working, while eating, while working, in all the situations of his life. His mind became so much absorbed with the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that indirectly he could see only Krishna. He could see only Krishna or Vishnu around him. Unfortunately, although his mind was so absorbed in the thought of Vishnu, he is not recognized as a devotee because he was thinking of Krishna as an enemy. The state of mind of a great devotee is also to be always absorbed in Krishna, but a devotee thinks of him favorably, not unfavorably. To think of Krishna favorably is Krishna consciousness, but to think of Krishna unfavorably is not Krishna consciousness. At the time, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narada and followed by many other demigods, invisibly appeared in the house of Kamsa. They began to pray for the Supreme Personality of Godhead in selecting prayers which are very pleasing to the devotees and which award fulfillment of their desires. The first word they spoke acclaimed that the Lord is true to his vow, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Krishna descends in the material world just to protect the pious and destroy the impious. That is his vow. The demigods could understand that the Lord and had taken his residence within the womb of Devaki in order to fulfill this vow. The demigods were very glad that the Lord was appearing to fulfill his mission, and they addressed him as Satyam Param, or the supreme absolute truth. Everyone is searching after the truth. That is the philosophical way of life. The demigods give information that the supreme absolute truth is Krishna. One who becomes fully Krishna conscious can attain the absolute truth. Krishna is the absolute truth. Relative truth is not truth in all the three phases of eternal time. Time is divided into past, present, and future. Krishna is truth always. Oh, Oh, yes, Krishna is truth, always past, present, and future in the material world. Everything is being controlled by supreme time in the cause of past, present. Oh, where am I? Existing in the material world, everything is being controlled by the supreme time. Okay, let me start here. Of past, present, and future. But before the creation, Krishna was existing, and when there is creation, everything is resting in Krishna. And when this creation is finished, Krishna will remain. Therefore, he is absolute truth in all circumstances. If there is any truth within this material world, it emanates from the supreme truth. Krishna is there in any opulence within this material world. The cause of the opulence is Krishna. If there is any reputation within this material world, the cause of the reputation is Krishna. If there is any strength within the material world, the cause of such strength is Krishna. If yes, you can go down, Prabhu. And if there is any wisdom and education within the material world, the cause of such wisdom and education is Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is the source of all relative truths. This material world is composed of 5 principal elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And all such elements are emanations from Krishna. The material scientists accept these primary 5 elements as the cause of material manifestation, but the elements in the gross and subtle states are produced by Krishna. The living entities who are working within the material world are also products of his marginal potency. In the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that the whole manifestation is a combination of 2 kinds of energies of Krishna: the superior energy and the inferior energy. The living entities are the superior energy, and the dead material elements are his inferior energy. In its dormant stage, everything remains in Krishna. The demigods continue to offer their respectful prayers unto the supreme form of the personality of Godhead. Krishna, by analytical study of the material manifestation. What is this material manifestation? It is just You can go down, Prabhu. It is just like a tree. A tree stands on the ground. Similarly, the tree of the material manifestation is standing on the ground of material nature. This material manifestation is compared with a tree because a tree is ultimately cut off in due course of time. A tree is called vrkasa. Vrkasa. Is it vrkasa? How do you pronounce it, Prabhu?
Riksha.
Oh, vriksha. Vriksha means that everything which will be ultimately cut off. Therefore, this tree of the material manifestation cannot be accepted as the ultimate truth. The influence of time is on the material manifestation, but Krishna's body is eternal. He existed before the material manifestation. He is existing while the material manifestation is continuing, and when it will be dissolved, he will continue to exist. The Katak Upanishad also cites these examples on the of the tree of material manifestation standing on the ground of material nature. This tree has two kinds of fruits, distress and happiness. Those who are living on the tree of the body are just like two birds. One bird is the localized aspect of Krishna known as the Paramatma, and the other bird is the living entity. The living entity is eating the fruits of this material manifestation. Sometimes he eats the fruit of happiness and sometimes he eats the fruit of distress. But the other bird is not interested in eating the fruits of distress or happiness because he is self-satisfied. The Katha Upanishad states that one bird on the tree of the body is eating the fruits, and the other bird is simply witnessing the roots of this tree extend in three directions. That means the roots of the tree is the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance, just as the tree's roots expand. So, by association of the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, one expands his duration of material existence. The taste of the fruits are of four kinds: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and ultimate liberation. According to the different association, in the three modes of material nature, the living entities are tasting different kinds of religiosity, di- different kinds of economic developments, different kinds of sense gratification, and different kinds of liberation. Practically, all material work is performed in ignorance, but because there are three qualities, sometimes the qualities of ignorance is covered with goodness or passion. The taste of these material foods is accepted through five senses. The five senses organs through which knowledge is acquired are subjected to six kinds of worship. What? Whispers, where am I? Okay, whispers. Lamentation, illusion, infirmity, death, hunger, and thirst. This material body or the material manifestation is covered by seven layers: skin, muscle, flesh, marrow, bone, fat, and semina. The branches of the tree are nine gates in this body. The two eyes, two nostrils, two ears. Yes, okay.
Keep the branches of
Prabhu?
the.
Oh, the branches of the tree.
Yes, Prabhu, you skipped it. Read from here.
Oh, I skipped it.
Yes, Prabhu.
The branches of the tree are eight. Oh, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. There are nine gates in this body: the two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, one mouth, one gentle, and one rectum. And there are 10 kinds of internal air passing within the body: prana, apana, udana, vyana, samana, etc. The two birds seated in this tree, as explained above, are the living entity and the localized Supreme Personality of Godhead. The root cause of the material manifestation described here in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands himself and takes charge of the three qualities of the material world. Vishnu takes charge of the mode of goodness. Brahma takes charge of the modes of passion, and Lord Shiva takes charge of the modes of ignorance. Brahma, by the modes of passion, creates this manifestation. Lord Vishnu maintains the manifestation by the mode of goodness, and Lord Shiva annihilates it by the mode of ignorance. The whole creation ultimately rests in the Supreme Lord. He is the cause of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And when the whole manifestation is dissolved in its subtle form as the energy of the Lord, it rests within the body of the Supreme Lord. At the present, at the present, the demigods prayed the Supreme Lord Krishna is appearing just for the maintenance of this manifestation. Actually, the Supreme Cause is one, but being diluted by the three modes of material nature, less intelligent persons see that the material world is manifested through different causes. Those who are intelligent those who are intelligent can see that the cause is one. Krishna, as it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of all causes. Brahma is the deputed agent for creation. Vishnu is the expansion of Krishna for maintenance, and Lord Shiva is the expansion of Krishna for dissolution. Our dear Lord, the demigods prayed, it is very difficult to understand your eternal form of personality. People in general are unable to understand your actual form. Therefore, you are personally descending to exhibit your original eternal form. Somehow, people can understand the different incarnations of your lordship, but they are puzzled to understand the eternal form of Krishna with two hands moving among human beings. Exactly like one of them, this eternal form of your lordship is ever increasing in transcendental pleasure for the devotees. But for the non-devotees, this form is very dangerous, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, you can go down, Prabhu. Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is very pleasing to the sadhu. It is said, paraitaranya sadhunam. But this form is very dangerous for the demons because Krishna also descends to kill the demons. He is therefore simultaneously pleasing to the devotees and dangerous to the demons. Our dear lotus-eyed Lord, you are the source of pure goodness. There are many great sages who simply by samadhi or transcendental meditating upon your lotus feet and thus being absorbed in your thoughts have easily transformed the great ocean of nescience created by the material nature to know more than water in a calf's hoof print. The purpose of meditation is to focus the mind upon the personality of Godhead beginning from. Yeah, Prabhu. The next person can read, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nicely read.
Thank
Very
you, Prabhu.
fast. Thank you so much,
1,
Prabhu. Very
2,
nice.
3, 4, 5. Okay, I can read few pages.
Yes, Prabhu. I can read after that.
Simply by meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages cross over the vast ocean of material existence without difficulty. O self-illuminated one, the great saintly persons who have crossed over the ocean of nescience by the help of the transcendental boat of your lotus feet have not taken away that boat. It is still lying on this side. The demigods are using a nice smile. Yeah. If one takes a boat to cross over a river, the boat also goes with one to the other side of the river. And so when one reaches the destination, how can the same boat be available to those who are still on the other side? To answer this difficulty, the demigods say in their prayer that the boat is not taken away. The devotees still remaining on the other side are able to pass over the ocean of material nature because the pure devotees do not take the boat with them when they cross over. When one simply approaches the boat, the whole ocean of material science is reduced to the size of water in calf's hoofprint. Therefore, the devotees do not need to take the boat to the other side. They simply cross the ocean immediately. Because the great saintly persons are compassionate toward all conditioned souls, the boat is still lying at the lotus feet of the Lord. One can meditate upon his feet at any time, and by doing so, one can cross over the great ocean of material existence. Meditation means concentration upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Lotus feet indicating the Supreme Person of Godhead. Those who are impersonalists do not recognize the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore the object of meditation is something impersonal. The demigods express their mature verdict that persons who are interested in meditating on something void or impersonal cannot cross over the ocean of nescience. Such persons are simply imagining that they have become liberated. O lotus-eyed Lord, their intelligence is contaminated because they fail to meditate upon the lotus feet of your Lordship. As a result of this neglectful activity, the impersonalists fall down again into the material way of conditional life. Although they have temporarily rise up to the point of impersonal realization. Impersonalists, after undergoing severe austerities and penances, merge themselves into the Brahman effulgence or impersonal Brahman existence. But their minds are not free from material contamination. They have simply tried to negate the material ways of thinking. That does not mean that they have become liberated. Thus they fall down. In the Bhagavad Gita it is stated, the impersonalist has to undergo great tribulation in realizing the ultimate goal. At the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also stated that without devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot achieve liberation from bondage of fruitive activities. The statement of Lord Krishna is that there in the is there in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The statement of the great sage Narada is there, and here also the demigods confirm it. Persons who have not taken to devotional service are understood to have come short of the ultimate purpose of knowledge and are now favored by your grace. The impersonalists simply think that they are liberated, but actually they have no feeling for the person of Godhead. They think that when Krishna comes into the material world, he accepts the material body. They therefore overlook the transcendental body of Krishna. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti mam muda. In spite of conquering material lust and rising up to the point of liberation, the impersonalists fall down. If they are engaged just in knowing things for the sake of knowledge and do not take to the devotional service of the Lord, they cannot achieve the desired result. Their achievement is the trouble they take, and that is all. It is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita that to realize Brahman identification is not all. Brahman identification may help one become joyful without material attachment or detachment and to achieve the platform of equanimity. But after this stage, one has to take to devotional service. When one takes to devotional service after being elevated to the platform of Brahman realization, he is then admitted into the spiritual kingdom for permanent residence in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the result of devotional service. Those who are devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead never fall down like the impersonalists. Even if the devotees fall down, they remain affectionately attached to their lordship. They can meet all kinds of obstacles on the path of devotional service, and freely, without any fear, they can surmount such obstacles. Because of their surrender, they are certain that Krishna will always protect them. As it is promised by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, my devotees are never vanquished. O dear Lord, you have never appeared in your original unalloyed form, the eternal form of goodness. O dear Lord, you have appeared in your original unalloyed form, the eternal form of goodness, for the welfare of all living entities within this material world. Taking advantage of your appearance, all of them can now very easily understand the nature and form of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Persons who belong to the four divisions of the social order, the brahmacharis, the grihastas, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis, can all take advantage of your appearance. Dear Lord, husband of the goddess of fortune, devotees who are detailed in your service do not fall down from their high positions like the impersonalists. Being protected by you, the devotees are able to traverse over the heads of many of Maya's commanders in chief, who can always put stumbling blocks on the path of liberation. My dear Lord, You appear in your transcendental form for the benefit of the living entities, so they can see you face to face and offer their worshipful sacrifices by ritualistic performances of the Vedas. Mystic meditation and devotional service are recommended in the scriptures. Dear Lord, if you did not appear in your eternal transcendental form, full of bliss and knowledge, which can eradicate all kinds of speculative ignorance about your position, then all people would simply speculate about you according to their respective modes of material nature. The appearance of Krishna is the answer to all imaginative iconography of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Everyone imagines the form of the Supreme Person of Godhead according to his mode of material nature. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is the oldest person. Therefore, a section of religionists imagine that God must be very old, and therefore they depict a form of the Lord like a very old man. But in the same Brahma Samhita, that is contradicted. Although he is the oldest of all living entities, he has his eternal form as fresh youth. The exact words used in this connection in the Srimad Bhagavatam are Vijnanam Agnanabit Apamarjanam. Vijnanam means transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Personality. Vijnanam is also experienced knowledge. Transcendental succession as Brahma presents the knowledge of Krishna in the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita is Vijnanam as realized by Brahma's transcendental experience, and in that way he presented the form and the pastimes of Krishna in the transcendental abode. Agyanabid means that which can match all kinds of speculation. In ignorance, people are imagining the form of the Lord. Sometimes he has no form and sometimes he has a form, according to their different imaginations. But a presentation of Krishna in the Brahma Samhita is Vijnanam. I don't know what is here. Experienced knowledge given by Lord Brahma and accepted by Lord Chaitanya. There is no doubt about it. Sri Krishna's form, Sri Krishna's flute, Krishna's color, everything is reality. Here it is said that this Vijnanam is always defeating all kinds of speculative knowledge. Therefore, without your appearing as Krishna as you are, neither Agyanabid, the science of speculative knowledge, nor Vijnanam would be realized. Agyanabid apamarjanam. Agyanabid apamarjanam. By your appearance, the speculative knowledge of ignorance will be vanquished, and the real experienced knowledge of authorities like Lord Brahma will be established. Men influenced by the three modes of material nature imagine their own God according to their modes of nature. In this way, God is presented in various ways, but your appearance will establish what the real form of God is. Let's see. 1, 2. Vivek Prabhu, do you want to read the last 3 pages?
Yes, bro, 1 minute.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, I'll read 1 page. You can read 2 pages.
Okay, bro.
The highest blunder committed by the impersonalist is to think that when the incarnation of God comes, he accepts the form of matter in the modes of goodness. Actually, the form of Krishna or Narayana is transcendental to any material idea. Even the greatest impersonalist, Sankaracharya, has admitted that Narayana Parovyakta, the material creation, is caused by the Avyakta, impersonal manifestation of matter, of the non-phenomenal total reservation of matter. And Krishna is transcendental to that material conception. That is expressed in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Shuddha Sattva, or transcendental. He does not belong to the material mode of goodness, and he is above the position of material goodness. He belongs to the transcendental eternal status of bliss and knowledge. Dear Lord, when you appear in your different incarnations, you take different names and forms according to different situations. Lord Krishna is your name because you are all attractive. You are called Shyama Sundara because of your transcendental beauty. Shyam means blackish, yet they say that you are more beautiful than thousands of cupids. Kandarbha Koti Kamaniya. Although you appear in a color which is appeared to the blackish cloud, compared to the blackish cloud, because you are transcendental absolute, your beauty is many, many times more attractive than the delicate body of Cupid. Sometimes you are called, sometimes you are called Giridhari because you lifted the hill known as Govardhan. You are sometimes called Nandanandana or Vasudeva or Devakinandana because you appear as the son of Maharaj Nanda or Devaki or Vasudeva. Impersonalists think that your many names or forms are according to a particular type of work and quality because they accept you from the position of material observer. O our dear Lord, the way of understanding is not to study your absolute nature, form, and activities by mental speculation. One must engage himself in devotional service, then one can understand your absolute nature, transcendental form, name, and quality. Actually, only a person who has a little taste for the service of your lotus feet can understand your transcendental nature or form or and quality. Others may go speculating for millions of years, but it is not possible for them to understand even a single part of your actual position. In other words, the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna, cannot be understood by the non-devotees because there is a curtain of Yoga Maya which covers Krishna's actual features. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, the Lord says, I am not exposed to anyone and everyone. When Krishna came, he was actually presented on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was actually present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and everyone saw him. But not everyone could understand that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Still, everyone who died in his presence attained complete liberation from material bondage and was transferred to the spiritual world. Haribol.
Yes,
Okay,
oh,
Prabhu.
thank you so much. O Lord, the impersonalist or non-devotees cannot understand your name in identical with your form. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between his name and his actual form. In the material world, there is difference between form and name. The mango fruit is different from the name of the mango. One cannot taste the mango fruit simply by chanting mango, mango, mango. But the devotee who knows that there is no difference between the name and the form of the Lord chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and releases releases that he is always in Krishna's company. For persons who are not very advanced in absolute knowledge of the Supreme Lord Krishna exhibits his transcendental pastimes, they can simply think of the pastimes of the Lord and get the full benefit. Since there is no difference between transcendental name and form of the Lord, there is no difference between transcendental pastimes and the forms of the Lord. For those who are less intelligent, like women laborers or the merchant classes, the great sage Vyasadeva wrote Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, Krishna is present in his different activities. Mahabharata is history, and simply by studying history, studying, hearing, and memorizing the transcendental activities of Krishna, the less intelligent can also gradually rise to the standard of pure devotees. The pure devotees who are always uh, observed throughout the transcendental lotus feet of Krishna and who are always engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness and never to be considered to be in the material world. Sri Rupa Goswami has explained that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness by body, mind, and activities are to be considered liberated even within this body. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are engaged in devotional service of the Lord already transcendental the material position, transcendented the material position. Okay, Krishna appears to be give a chance both to the devotees and non-devotees for realization of the ultimate goal of life. The devotees get the direct chance to see him and worship him. Those who are not on that platform get the chance to become acquainted with his activities and those become elevated to the same position. Oh dear Lord, the demigods continue. You are unborn, therefore we do not find any reason for your appearance other than for your pleasurable pastimes. Although the reason for the appearance of the Lord is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. He descends just to give protection to the devotees and vanquish the non-devotees. Actually, he descends for his pleasure, meeting with the devotees, not really to vanquish the non-devotees. That non-devotees can be vanquished simply by material nature. The action and reaction of the external energy of material nature, the creation, maintenance, and annihilation, are being carried on automatically, but simply by taking shelter of your holy name, because your holy name and your personality are non-different. The devotees are sufficiently protected. The protection of the devotees and the annihilation of the non-devotees are actually not the business of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he descends, they are just for his transcendental pleasure. There cannot be any other reason for his appearance. Our dear Lord, you are appearing as the best of the Yadu dynasty, and we are offering our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. Before this appearance, you also appeared as the fish incarnation, the horse incarnation, the tortoise incarnation, the swan incarnation, as King Ramachandra, as Parashurama, as many other incarnations. You appeared just to protect the devotees, as we request you in your present appearance as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself to give us similarly protection all over the three worlds and remove all obstacles for the peaceful execution of our lives. Dear brother, dear mother Devaki, within your womb is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing along with all his plenary extension. He is the original personality of Godhead, appearing for our welfare. Therefore, you should not be afraid of your brother, the King of Bhoja. Your son, Lord Krishna, who is the original personality of Godhead, will appear for the protection of the pious Vedu dynasty. The Lord is appearing not only alone but accompanied by his immediate plenary portion, Balarama. Devaki was very much afraid of her brother Kamsa because he had already killed so many of her children. She used to remain very anxious about Krishna. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that in order to uh, specif- pacify Devaki, all the demigods, along with their wives, um, used to always visit her to encourage her not to be afraid that her son would be killed by Kamsa. Krishna, who was within her womb, who was within her womb, was to be appear not only to diminish the burden of the world, but specifically to protect the interest of the Yadu dynasty, and certainly to protect Devaki and Vasudeva. Those ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the second chapter of Krishna, prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. Haribo.
Ibo, thank you so much, Prabhu, for reading.
Very nice, Prabhu. Like
Yes,
we are reading daily that scientist nonsense scientist, but when we read this, it will be very different.
yes, Prabhu. Tomorrow we will read about the birth of Lord Krishna.
Haribo. Tomorrow
Haribo.
we can start till 6:30 tomorrow.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tomorrow
Tomorrow
full
I'm done
full
reading.
tomorrow until 10 o'clock 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, Prabhu. And Lebohang Prabhu, tomorrow is the fasting day.
Is it first? Isn't it? Oh, noon or the whole day?
Whole day until no, until midnight.
Oh, until
We,
midnight
without water.
without water.
Yes, Prabhu.
Ah,
In Janmashtami,
really?
yes, in Janmashtami, spiritual fasting.
Really? Like I can fast from food, yes, water,
Yes,
You try, Prabhu. You try.
but I'll
yes,
try.
at least to some
Try.
part of the day you can try.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Well, Prabhu, Swami Prabhu, for you today, yeah,
No, Prabhu. Tomorrow.
tomorrow only, no? Okay, confused.
And after that, take some,
No.
because Lepahang Prabhu, when the midnight comes, then you can take some Ekadashi prasadam, like some fruits and something. And next morning there is gonna be the Vyasa Puja and Prabhupada's appearance day. So after that we can take grains. Then we again do without water the morning until noon. And then after noon, when it's Prabhupada's appearance, then we can take grains. And this Janmashtami fasting, it's actually really significant.
Yes, Prabhu.
I'll show something. I've read many things. Like it's like word. Some like this. This is some nonsense. What does this say?
So meaning tomorrow when I wake up, there's no water, ne?
Yes, Prabhu. So you can drink. You can drink tonight.
Yeah, eh? And today I had like 3 live sessions because Luvesh Prabhu had a session too regarding the Spotify things.
Oh, there is a mantra that is one I did for the fasting.
Is it that one?
Vasudevam samuddishya sarvapapa prashantaye upavasam karishyami krishnasmyam nabashyaham. Only for the sake of pleasing the Lord, begging His love and to cleanse all sinful reactions, I'm undertaking this fasting on the day of Janmashtami.
Tomorrow drought day. We go into Dubai to the desert.
Really? But here it is said there is 3 types of fasting that if one cannot follow the above standard, then one should take only water. But this is a miscon Bangalore thing, so sometimes they put some nonsense.
Cause like usually I'm addicted to water. Like look, I even have a water bottle in my room. I drink like more than 5 liters a day.
Yes, sir. But it will come later, eventually. It will be easier. First year,
Yes,
it's hard for me any fasting.
Cause with that one, I was able to complete the one like I was like eating just veggies.
Yes, Prabhu.
That one was much better. Just having one fruit in the morning. So next week there will be Tagoshti, ne, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Because they are busy in the temple. Maybe they will do some live stream or something.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yes, I was trying to find something, some. I've seen from Shastra some verses about this Janmashtami fasting. Let's see. Yes, and first year the devotees they were thinking that Janmashtami means when it's Krishna's like birthday. They thought that it's gonna be big feast. One night fasting, and then midnight came. They thought, oh, now we're gonna eat something, some cake or something. Then Prabhupada brought some little fruits in and cut some pieces for everyone.
Because I remember they said, I think fasting is Krishna's favorite, right? He likes fasting.
I don't know that, but it's for like purification for us to fast.
Yes, cleanliness.
Yes, Prabhu. But we still offer. There is still offerings done for Krishna in the. I think there is grains also offered.
In temples, like they will offer one 500 items,
Yes,
1,000
Prabhu.
items like that.
Yes, there will be many items. We will see tomorrow from our temple.
Oh.
1,000 items, bro. You know 1,000?
Yes, I've seen.
1,008.
Yes, I've seen 1,008 one time.
Ah, yes, bro.
Like, oh, and I saw the Bhagavad Gita's the contribution of the 1,008 Bhagavad Gitas being distributed.
Oh yes, Prabhu.
Ala, ala.
Okay, let's read quickly the six Astakam prayers before it's too late. Cheto darpanamarjanam Nirvapanam Shreyah Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jeevanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Oh, should I go? Nam Nam Akari Buddha Nija Sarva Saktis Trata Pita Niyamitya Smarane Nakalaha Etatrishi Tvavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Etrishi Ehajina Narugana. Trinad api suni chena taro api saheshnuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari.
Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhaktirahai tukitvayi.
ऐनन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितां वां बुधौ कृपया पदपादपङ्कजा सुतधूलिसुतसंविचिन्तया
Nayanam galada surudaraya vadanam katkata rudaya gira pulakairini chitam vapukada dvavanam grahane bahai vishate.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविश्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे.
आश्लिष्य वा पादरतं विनष्टु मां मद्रशनान्मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु नाथस्तु साय व नापरः
Ribu.
विभोल्
Glories. Glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart, of all the dust accumulation. Okay, can I zoom out? It seems to give me problems of zooming out.
No?
it's okay.
Okay, you can read it. I'll read the second one. Okay, but here's it. It's fine. Glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years, extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life
It is
of
the
all
type of
transcendental knowledge.
knowledge.
It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Haribo, Sri Sixastakam ki jai.
Rebo Jai.
Okay, quickly 10 offenses. The first offense, to blaspheme the devotees who had dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or independent to the name of the Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master or consider to him to be an ordinary man.
What's one
To
to
bless
oh,
the
okay,
Vedic scriptures or scriptures in personance to the Vedic version.
super. Fifth one, to consider the glories of Hare Krishna to win imagination.
To make
To interpret that. Oh,
yes,
okay.
to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7.
To I think to think of the glories of Hare Krishna to be an imagination, something
To
like that.
commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Oh, there's it.
8.
Eighth, to consider the name, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an auspicious ritualistic activity which is offered in the Vedas as 50 activities, Karma Kanda.
9 is to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Final one. Do not have faith in chanting the holy
Do
name
not have
of
faith in chanting the holy name and increasing attachment even increasing material attachment even after
understanding.
even as so many understanding so many instructions on this matter, it is also been offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Panchakalpa.
Haribo. Panchakalpataruscha Kripa Sindhu Vajapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Nityananda Prabhu
Thank you
ki
so
jai,
much.
Shri Krishna
Jai,
Chaitanya Prabhu ki jai, Shri
Jai,
Ram ki jai, Nitai Gaur
Jai,
Jai,
Hari Hari Bol,
Jai,
Jai,
Krishna
Jai.
Haribo,
Jai.
Jai, Jai.
Okay,
Happy Krishna Janmashtami. Yes, Prabhu. Haribo.
Hari Bol.